Hi. This short story begins like this. It was in the 3rd century AD, when an 18-year-old girl named Edna set out on a long journey to meet the king of her state, who was hiring women as domestic servants. Arriving at the palace, Edna marveled at the beauty of it, as she walked to the main entrance. Upon entering the building, she was shown by guards where to meet the king. When the king saw Edna, he looked at her and said, "You are beautiful. Please, come with me." While walking beside Edna, the king affectionately said, "Please do not return home. I want to marry you. Sit on my throne and pretend you are a queen." Sitting on the throne, Edna felt happy and willingly agreed to marry the king. Months after they were married, the king said to Edna that he would like to take her to see 2 more of his palaces. While showing Edna one of the palaces, the king surprised her when he said, "One day when I die, all the palaces I inherited will be yours." Edna pulled her hands away, saying, "I don't believe you." However, days later, the young queen began to think differently, as she began thinking of getting rid of the king so that she could inherit his wealth. One day, Edna did something shocking by secretly putting poison in the king's wine with the intent to kill him. Fortunately, the king survived this attempt on his life, when one of his loyal servants managed to get the poison out of him. When the king later found out what Edna did, he immediately sent her into exile. Edna was so embarrassed that she decided to travel to a remote village to live in hiding. However, when she got there, people had already heard about what she did and began yelling insults at her. Feeling ashamed, Edna started to walk on a dusty road, hiding her face with a scarf. She got so distressed by feelings of guilt that she began to think of finding a place to die. Eventually, she came to an old abandoned religious site. In a sorrowful mood, she turned and said, "Lord, I am a sinner. My greed led me astray. Please forgive me. I am now ready to die." After saying this, she heard sounds, and upon turning around, she saw the king and soldiers of his army coming towards her. When the king dismounted his horse, he said, "Edna, what are you doing here?" Edna replied, "I have no home. I came to this temple to die. Please forgive me." The king immediately forgave her and said, "I will cancel my trip to a distant village. I cannot leave you here. Deep in my heart, I still love you." The king then mounted his horse and said, "Please, come home with me." Edna agreed, and with this, they headed back to the palace, where they lived happily together. This fictional tale shows how love and forgiveness can repair a broken relationship. Well, this is J.R. Singh saying bye. Please subscribe.